Once upon a time, there was a boy named Max. He was a boy with a very big imagination. An imagination so wild it could take him to places no one had ever dreamed of. Max wore a wolf suit, complete with whiskers and claws, and sometimes he was just a little too wild. Max was a whirlwind of energy, mischief, and untamed ideas. He would build forts out of blankets, chase the dog around the house until it hid under the bed, and sometimes he'd make a real mess. One night, after a long day of being a wild thing, his behavior went a bit too far. His mother, who loved him very much, had to be firm. "That's enough, Max," she said with a tired sigh, and for his mischief, she sent him to his room without any supper. The door clicked shut, and Max was all alone. He felt angry at first, stomping his feet and crossing his arms. But as he sat there in the quiet of his room, something magical began to happen. His anger faded, and his incredible imagination started to take over. Slowly, almost without him noticing, his room began to change. The walls seemed to melt away, and in their place, tall trees with tangled vines started to grow, reaching right up to the ceiling. The ceiling itself disappeared, replaced by a sky full of twinkling stars. The floor beneath his feet softened and shifted until it wasn't a floor at all, but a vast, shimmering ocean. These wild things were enormous creatures with terrible roars, gnashing their terrible teeth and rolling their terrible eyes. They had sharp claws and looked very fierce indeed. They placed a crown upon his head and declared him their ruler, and then Max cried out, "Let the wild rumpus start!" And oh, what a rumpus it was! They danced and swung from trees, they howled at the moon, and marched in a parade just for fun. For a time, it was the most wonderful adventure a boy could have, but after all the dancing and roaring was done, and the wild things were all asleep, Max sat by himself. Even as a king, with a whole island of monsters to command, he felt a little lonely. He started to think about his home, and about someone there who loved him best of all, even when he was being wild. He missed the smell of his own room and the warmth of his own bed. He realized it was time to go. So Max gave up being king. He said goodbye to the wild things, who were very sad to see him go, and he stepped back into his private boat. He waved as he sailed away across the sea, back through the night and day, and through the weeks, right back into the very night of his own room. And there, waiting for him on his little table, was his supper, and it was still hot. This wonderful story reminds us that it's okay to feel wild sometimes, to let our imaginations run free and explore new worlds. But it also shows us that no matter how far we roam or how wild we feel, there's nothing quite like coming home. Because home is where love is always, always waiting for you. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.